Hello and welcome to my favorite shelf. So I had a really good time doing the Tolkien first line ranking system that we did a little bit ago. I can leave that video linked, but I wanted to do that with my favorite books and see how they stack up against each other based on first lines. Again, the little caveat is once in a while the first line is super short. So you may need to get the second or third line as well, but the idea of it is which book starts off the best, with the best bang. So I don't have a real system of how we're gonna do this, but why don't we just start? I guess we'll start with Color by J.J. Fisher. This one, I have not finished the series yet, but let's see how the book starts. Now, again, you could you start with the prologue or do you start with chapter 1? I think I'm gonna read both and see which one is better. Okay, we're gonna go with the prologue because the actual chapter 1 starts off with a quote. And I think that one is a little less engaging. So, his father might be in the middle of saving the world, but Dorian was still bored. I like it. That's a good first line. I like it. I think I have a lot of favorite books here on this shelf, so I think I'm just gonna go with the first book in that series to represent the series, maybe, because I just think we'd be here all day then. Heart of Red, Blood of Blue by Rebecca Belliston. This one also has a prologue. Okay, the prologue intro sentence is a little bland. The chapter 1 first sentence is a little bit funny. I'll go with the chapter 1. It says, "What kind of idiotic fool would do that?" Ryder asks. Okay, it introduces a character, a little bit of the personality of that character. It's definitely not as good as Color. Dangerous Beauty by Melissa Coslin. This one goes straight to chapter 1. She ran. That's not enough. I'm gonna do the second sentence. She ran. She'd finally orchestrated an opportunity and she'd run. Okay, I mean, there's a bit of action there. There's a bit of intensity there, knowing that this person is running away from something that she had been waiting for an opportunity to run away from. So yeah, I like it. Not as good as Color, but I like it. The Skin Map by Stephen Lawhead. All right, so this one just jumps straight in. Had he but known that before the day was over, he would discover the hidden dimensions of the universe, Kit might have been better prepared. At least he would have brought an umbrella. I like it. I like it. Do I like it more than Color? I really like it, but I still think Color's opening is a bit better. Resistance by J.L. Knight. This one goes straight to chapter 1. Fleeing. That's a one sentence. Okay, we're gonna go more than that. Fleeing. Rayad crunched his brows down. That's another sentence. I think we need one more. Fleeing. Rayad crunched his brows down. At this age, he should have been retired and living comfortably, but no. He was a wanted man. I'm gonna put it in the middle. I like it. It's giving a little bit of action. It's giving a little bit of the context where you know that one of the main character, or at least the character we're talking about, is a little bit older and wanted a life of retirement and ease at this age, but something is going on and he can't. So I do like it. It's just not as good as the other two. Let's try out Hind's Feet on High Places by Hannah Hernard. Oh, I love this book. That's a preface. Okay. Chapter 1 with this beautiful watercolor illustration. Love it. This is the story of how Much Afraid escaped from her fearing relatives and went with the shepherd to the high places where perfect love casteth out fear. I like it. I don't think I love it. I mean, once you have read the story, sometimes I think the opening sentence can mean more, which is, I think, the case here. I like it more so knowing the story. I think we're gonna put it number 3. I grabbed some from over there. So, The Hobbit, you guys, if you watched my Tolkien one, you know that I have such a soft spot for the opening for The Hobbit, and I suspect it will win here again. But let's start chapter 1. In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit, not a nasty, dirty, wet hole filled with the ends of worms and an oozy smell, nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down on or to eat. It was a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. Love it. So I suspect that one's going to be on top. Let's try The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis. This is definitely, I mean, one of my favorites, obviously. It's on my favorite shelf. What is in here? Oh, look at this. This is a thrifted book. And there's like an old postcard in here. I don't think I ever realized this. Cool. Is there a year? Oh, wow. 1978. To Montreal, Canada. Oh, wow. That is so, so cool. Okay, well, that's staying in there. But anyway, back to the video at hand. What is the opening sentence? And let me know if you guys have read this book, because it is a book on its own. Like, it has its own genre. Yeah, I don't know. My dear Wormwood, I note what you say about guiding your patient's reading and taking care that he sees a good deal of his materialist friend. As an opening sentence, I'm not sure about it. My dear Wormwood, I note what you say about guiding your patient's reading and taking care that he sees a good deal of his materialist friend. I don't know. I'm thinking no for an opening sentence. So I put it on the second to the bottom. I love the book, like all of these. Just not the first sentence so much. We're gonna do Mark of the Raven by Morgan L. Bussey. This book I have read twice and loved it both times. I laugh because the first word is a sentence. Like, it's one of those choppy ones again, so I'm gonna have to go like probably at least 3 sentences for this one. Cold, so cold. Every breath came out like a faint wisp, a lingering spirit within the sanctuary, only to evaporate into frozen air. I don't like it. I don't like it as a first sentence. This is really interesting. I think I might put it above Screwtape Letters. I actually decided on below Screwtape Letters. Next one, Merlin's Blade by Robert Trescollard. This one I never hear anyone talking about, but I really enjoyed this series. So, there's a prologue and a chapter 1. Neither of them are overly compelling, so I'll go with the chapter 1. And again, I have to do 2 sentences. So it starts. Merlin frowned. He didn't know what he wanted more, to talk with Nataliena or to hide. I mean, it does set you up for some kind of story. You know, there's something there that you're going to be exploring in this book. Why is Merlin disappointed? Why is he, what does it say? Indecisive on like if he wants to talk to this girl or hide from her. Above Screwtape Letters, I think. Next one, Fox by Nadine Brandes. This was essentially the book that got me into Christian fantasy. So let us see. There is no prologue, just a chapter 1. The first sentence, I wasn't ready to turn to stone. I like it. It's very simple. I don't really think I need a second sentence, even though that one's really short. But I think it talks, I don't know, it gives enough of what's going on. Like, I wasn't ready to turn to stone. So why is he turning to stone? And how does he know he is in advance? And what caused it? And yeah, what kind of world are we living in where you can turn into stone? And is it permanent? Can you reverse it somehow? Yeah, I think there's a lot of good intrigue in this first opening line. So I'm putting it just under the skin map. The next one, I wanted to do the first book in the Knights of Aerith Trey series by Chuck Black. I really like this series. Highly recommend it. These are really short books. And I guess that's, yeah. So the first line, there's no prologue. First line, like raindrops on a still summer's eve, the words of a story can oft fall grayly upon the ears of a disinterested soul. Solid line. It's very atmospheric and I like that. It's very moody feeling. I don't know, I do like it quite a bit. Raindrops on a still summer's eve. The words of a story can oft fall grayly upon the ears of a disinterested soul. Yeah, I like it. I decided to put it under Fox. I just think it's really good. Not maybe the best, but very, very, very solid. So next I want to try and look at some of the historical books behind me. Man, I just can't talk today. Which is not a good thing for a video in which I'm supposed to be reading. Reading aloud. Okay, I'll do a popular author that most people know. Jamie Jo Wright writes Dual Timeline. I don't tend to like her books, but this one I really like. So, chapter 1, no prologue. Life was not unlike the wisp of a fog. Nope. Life was not unlike the wisp of fog that curled around the base of a grave marker, softly caressing the marble before dissolving into the violet shadow of the night. Very flowery writing right off the bat, but it does definitely set the mood, set the scene. We've got the wisp of fog that's curling around the base of a grave marker. You know, it's very gothic feeling, which is true to Jamie Jo Wright's books. It often feels like that. Caressing the marble before dissolving into the violet shadows of the night. Yeah, it's very, very flowery. I don't dislike it by any means. I do like it, but I feel like if an author does it too much, then it can get a little like, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. Like there's just so many adjectives and, you know. But this I like. This one works. So I've put it just below Dangerous Beauty, just because the flowery writing can get a little bit over the line sometimes, but I do still like it. Like obviously these are my favorite books, guys. I do still like these a lot. Let's go with, speaking of gothic historical, let's go with Lost in Darkness by Michelle Grieb. I love this one. A lot of people did not like this one because of a certain thing that happens, but I really like it. There was something glorious about the first day of June. Doesn't fit the moody of the book, I feel like. And do you think think that's important for the first line or the first idea to set the stage for the mood of the whole entire book. Do you think that? Or can it be misleading sometimes? Because this one I feel like is a little misleading. It honestly feels like maybe how a rom-com would start. Like there was something glorious about that first day of June. It feels light and fluffy and maybe rom-com-y to me. Not at all like gothic historical. What do you guys think? So there's nothing wrong with the first sentence. It doesn't evoke any type of like, oh, I need to read more, this is going to be a great book. It doesn't evoke that necessarily. And it doesn't fit with the cover. So if I were to read this in a bookstore, I'd be a little confused. Curious. So I'm actually going to place it second from the bottom. Let's do... Okay, since we're talking about rom-coms, this is the only rom-com that I have on my favorite shelf because I don't really read rom-coms. But this one I just absolutely love. So let's read Don't Let Me Down book. This one has a prologue and a first chapter, so let me see which one is better. Prologue is meh. Okay. Okay. Well, knowing that you're going into this speaks again to the cover matching the first line. But maybe, I don't know, maybe this is an exception, or maybe that shouldn't be necessarily a mindset to have going into a book. But this one, keep in mind, rom-com, and it is Christian. First line, I'm going to kill my mother. Well, right off the bat, since we know the context of being a rom-com, we know mom did something pretty bad. And our main character is not impressed. I don't know, what do you guys think? I haven't really thought about first sentences too much, but I'm really curious how, because like if this was a thriller or something, like that first sentence would have a very different connotation to it. It would be a lot more dark and sinister, whereas if you know it's a rom-com, you know that she doesn't mean it, she's just mad about something, and you really kind of want to know what that something is. I don't know. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it there. That's a pretty good stack. It's a pretty good representation of my favorites. Of course, The Hobbit comes out on top, always, always. There it is. Yeah. I am very curious. I do have on the bottom shelf of my favorite shelf is my secular favorites as well as my more middle grade favorites. So I'm curious if you guys would like to see this type of video with those other shelves as well. And potentially like we could pick like a monthly TBR based on the first lines. I've done something similar where you read the first chapter to see what you want to read right at that moment. But yeah, let me know if any of this sounds like fun. Like, would you like to see more videos talking about first sentences? I'm having a ball doing these, so let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you in whatever comes next. Bye!